Hello and welcome to Tina and Karen Do the Tube. I am Karen.
What's up, folks? This is Tina. What year are we in now?
This is 2024, and 2024 deserves a whole brand new spanking good look, don't you think, Tina?
I hope so.
Yeah. So Tina and I are experimenting a little bit with OBS, and we're trying to create a better format for the video because having our little faces in the bottom corner while we watch the video didn't look very professional, wouldn't you
Yeah.
say? So this is a much more professional look, and I'm going to continue to sort of learn OBS as the time goes on. In the meantime, what do you guys think? You like the new look?
Yeah. Comments. Say something.
Right, hit the like button and share a comment. It means
Even
a
if it's
lot.
terrible.
Yeah, please. Terrible comments are the best. All right.
And yeah, this was our New Year's resolution too, wasn't it?
To
You know,
to really vamp up the podcast in terms of quality. It's still not 100%. I'm afraid you probably can hear through my mic. For clarification, we bought this mic back in 2014 or 2015. When did we start this podcast?
holy crap. 2016, actually? I think maybe.
Okay. Okay, so this mic is about 8 years old now.
Hmm.
Um, Probably needs an update. Plus, the sound mixer is older than that, I believe. So I just bought a whole new setup. I'm going to
Yeah.
work on it and practice on it this weekend. And by the next week, when we do our next week's podcast, hopefully it'll all go smoothly, right?
Come a long way since those apartment days.
Yeah. We're also actually thinking about like breaking down and bowing down to corporate Microsoft, the fascist corporate
Oh my
daddy.
God.
Yeah, lick the boots of Microsoft. So, because like the whole thing with the Zoom cutting us off in the middle of our podcast really throws us off our rhythm.
It's untenable.
It's simply it's worse than the Holocaust, and I do not exaggerate.
Even more so for your listeners, probably.
Right. Okay, so Tina, let's just get straight into the video. It's a brand new year with the podcast. This is going to be the year of growth. We've already lost 2 subscribers. We're going to get them back.
I didn't know we lost two, but we'll gain four.
We lost them because I believe we haven't posted consistently in the last like 6 months.
Well, that means that they were listening. That's good.
Yeah, and then they gave up listening because we gave up producing. So this is actually the time of the year where Tina is the least busy with his schedule. So
Yes,
I feel like we'll be able to produce consistent content for the next few months.
that's the goal here.
hmm All right. So before we even get into the video, the big news story of the day is Pete Carroll.
Oh, I mean, of today, I mean, it'd be Bill Belichick, right?
Well, but we're Seattle people, so we'll talk about Belichick maybe at the end of the podcast. But first off, this has nothing to do with the video we're going to watch. I was just curious about your thoughts.
Mm.
What do you think?
I think it was a good time. For those who don't know, that Seahawks released their head coach slash president of football operations too. He was
Yeah,
president.
it was president. What does that
Um,
mean, though?
And I think he just has overarching control over I don't know, the football side of things, maybe
Does that
like the
mean
actual like playing.
he's above John Schneider?
Yes, yes.
So what was John
So
Schneider's
this is
job?
just general manager, not
What if what if the
not
general
like
manager
president
does?
manager.
So the president Trump's manager. What does King get?
What the Queen, Jody Allen,
Oh, Queen. Yes.
she gets nothing because she has to sell the team eventually
Oh, that's
and give it
sad.
all to charity.
No, give it to Clay Bennett. He'll do good.
Oh God.
That's what we need. The
Um.
Oklahoma Seahawks.
Oh God. I mean. Wouldn't be anything new here.
No.
As far as Pete Carroll, though, not being the head coach, I mean, yeah, he's 14 years, 15, something like that. And
Most senior veteran coach in Seahawks history, winningest coach in Seahawks history as well.
yeah, oldest coach in the NFL. I
Yep,
think I think it
72.
came not too soon, not too late. I think it was about the right time.
I disagree. I'm afraid.
Okay.
I think that he deserved one more year. I honestly do.
One more. Okay.
Because here's my rationale. Last year, I think he was deserving of Coach of the Year. The fact that he took a team with Geno Smith at quarterback to the playoffs, is almost miraculous. Especially you lose your franchise quarterback, you go with a guy who is not even a has-been, it never was, and you get a Pro Bowl season out of him, and you go to the playoffs when everyone expected you to finish last in your division. So that was impressive. Expectations were high for this year, and they underperformed. They
They had the
disappointed.
same record.
The same record, but there was higher expectations given how well we did last year. We thought defense is young; it's going to get better. A lot of
Defense got
players,
worse.
yeah, but a lot of players regressed.
Yeah.
So, but I think that there was it wasn't a terrible year. It's a winning season. I think
I know, yeah, 9-8.
I think he deserved one more year to sort of turn it around.
Yeah, it sounds like he was expecting also to be coaching for one more year, so not sure what the entire rationale was. Maybe they thought the coaching market was as open as it's going to be, so I
Yeah,
don't know. I guess the big question is who replaces him.
I want Vrabel, but
Yeah.
just for the hell of it, I said that like, what if it's Jim Harbaugh?
Do you want Jim Harbaugh? I
I will
feel
never.
like a lot of people hate Jim Harbaugh over here for multitudes of reasons.
No, I just said if they do ever, for whatever reason, decide to make Jim Harbaugh the coach, I will not watch a Seahawks game until he's gone.
Oh, really? You're
Yeah,
boycotting him?
I would boycott. Oh, absolutely. The only reason I thought this was a possibility floated because I heard that Jim Harbaugh wanted to return to the NFL. He just won a national championship. He has nothing to prove more at that level. And wouldn't he want to basically stick it to the Niners?
Yeah, I get to play them twice a year.
Yeah. So I would
It's
hate
just,
that. Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, they just beat the Huskies in the national championship. So already people in Seattle don't like him. And then didn't like him before because he was coach of the Niners back
Yeah.
when the Seahawks and Niners had a huge rivalry.
Jim Harbaugh is the most hated sports figure in the Seattle, Washington area.
Coaching sports figure for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's a little bit much of a detour. This has nothing to do with what we're actually discussing about today.
Yeah.
So we are going to be responding and reacting to a video from Monostory Academy. Very small YouTube channel. They're just slightly more popular than us. Uh, they have 300 subscribers. So.
Okay.
But I thought it'd be nice to we both thought it'd be nice to respond and review like a lesser known YouTube channel just for a change.
Yeah. See what they're thinking, how they're trying to. Let's see how they dissect a topic. And
Let's just see how much of a meritocracy YouTube is. Let's see
yeah.
if because my assumption would be with low subscriptions means that it's probably crap. I don't mean to be rude.
Hey, it's okay. We're still punching up.
Yes,
They
we
have
are.
more subsidiary.
Yes, and we're losing more by the day. But this is actually an open invitation. If our review of your video is not how you like Monostory Academy, please come onto our podcast and we'll discuss your views on the fundamental flaw of science and religion and how to fix it.
Yeah, interesting topic you chose there. I'm curious to see your reasoning.
I like the title. The title made me laugh because the arrogance of how to fix it. This one person with 300 YouTube subscribers knows how to fix science and religion.
Well, he must. I mean, he felt the need to post it on the internet.
I know. Well, we post on the air too. We're filled with answers, aren't we?
More questions than answers.
That's right. All right. So without further ado, maybe we should get started.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. You want to do the honors?
Yeah. We're trying out this new thing called Watch Together. So
yep.
Let's watch this together.
Okay.
Come from eyewitness testimony? Remember, the entire point of Plato's philosophy is that sensory input traps you in a cave of illusion. And if you can't
we missed a little bit at the very beginning there, but
you want to restart it? Or?
Yeah, let's just restart. I'm going to pull back.
Okay. Yeah.
Here we go.
Did you know that 70% of wrongful convictions come from eyewitness testimony? Remember, the entire point of Plato's philosophy is that sensory input traps you in a cave of illusion. And if you can't trust your own senses, then there's no way you can trust someone else's. Once you get this, you'll never watch the news again. Every reporter, historian, and scientist.
You're laughing quite a bit there. What is it? What was
He's
funny
so
about that?
confident. He's like, once you understand this, you'll never watch the news again.
No one should ever watch the news. You know the good old quote, Mark Twain. Those
Yeah.
that those that don't read the newspaper are uninformed. Those who do read the newspaper are misinformed.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to understand where their bias is.
Oh yeah, that's the start to it. But even then, do you ever really have a full picture of reality?
No, no. 70% of all eyewitness testimony is or
No, he said 70% of all wrongful convictions.
convictions are due to eyewitness.
The basis of their evidence for their conviction was eyewitness testimony.
Mm. Yeah, I
So
could see that. Although I think nowadays, right, you're not supposed to rely on eyewitness testimony, right?
it's the
Or you have
least.
to have like multiple eyewitnesses in order to corroborate.
Yeah, well, eyewitness testimony is historically the least reliable form of evidence there is you can use in court. In fact, DNA testing became a prominent thing in the 80s, 90s, and it's
Mhm.
exonerated many people who were put in prison over eyewitness testimony. So,
Dang.
do you remember that scene in what's that movie? My Cousin Vinny.
No, I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen My Cousin Vinny? Really?
I know.
Ah, great movie. Well, like the whole movie is just basically Joe Pesci's character Vinny. Uh, oops, we got a little warning. We got 10 minutes left on this video stream. We'll have to restart it. But Joe Pesci's character Vinny, basically the whole thing is about the trial of his cousin, and the cousins are going to go to jail for life based on 90% eyewitness testimony. That's the whole reason they're going to prison. And then he picks them apart by basically proving that they couldn't have saw what they claimed they saw. Like one woman, like basically uh, uh, doesn't have well, she has poor vision. She depends on prescription glasses. She wasn't wearing them at the time when she saw them. So he takes a tape measure, goes back to the end of the room, says, "How many fingers am I holding up, Maud?" And then like stuff like that. And then also
Okay.
there was another one where he's showing a picture. It was like there's a dirty. You saw them. You could swore that it was their car through through these trees, through this muddy window, through all these layers. You swear you saw them, and no, it could be anything else. So, but that was 90% of the movie is just him tearing down eyewitnesses.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, very historically inaccurate, but the sounds of it, 70%.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering where he's going with this eyewitness testimony and dealing with the fundamental flaw of religion and science.
Well, he's saying you can't trust other people's sensory interpretation of reality.
Okay, so we can't trust what other people are telling us to.
That's
what I'm getting from the news.
Yes, the news is like trusting other people's sensory interpretation of what happened. Yes, but you know, religion's one thing, but science, it's used interchangeably with the process that is science and just our collective knowledge. And it really matters which one you're talking about, because if you're just saying trust the science as in the collective knowledge, then you're an idiot, because that changes all the time. But if you mean trust the science as in like the process, then that's fine. But even
method.
the scientific method, but even then, the scientific method is very questionable in some ways.
Yeah,
All the social sciences are very fluff.
Yeah, definitely the social sciences.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
But let's give him his due. All right, I'll start her up. 3, 2, 1, go.
On Earth sees the present through the lens of the past, and theologians are no different. For all of their supposed differences, did you know that science and religion are trying to achieve the same thing? Not only do they seek the same result, but they agree on the process required to make it a reality. You see, there's only one story because there's only one cycle, and that cycle is the fall and restoration of paradise. And that's why science and religion were invented. To
What? I'm kind of feeling like we might be watching an intro to joining a cult video.
No, not at all. No,
Monostory Academy too? Like what's he trying to teach us?
I don't know. What does monostory even mean? Should we look it up?
I mean, one story it sounds like.
One
That's what
story. Yeah,
that's he's
that's.
explaining to us in this
I don't.
graphic.
I don't think it's a cult. Um,
Okay.
but I also don't really necessarily agree with that central premise to the argument that like science and religion are trying to achieve the same goal.
I mean,
Um,
they're all striving for truth, I would say, but
uh, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, could be.
oh, yeah, I want to say so, yeah. I mean,
I don't know if like either one is even goal oriented. Could you even say that? I mean, I guess you could say yeah, like science and religion, the goal is they're trying to understand the truth. But to me, science has no agenda. It's just it is what it is. It's just a process of trying to understand reality.
yeah,
That's
I mean, the agenda's on the users, I guess.
yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
And religion also, I guess, trying to understand reality, but through a different lens. So
Okay.
maybe you're right. You could be right. I could just be misinterpreting. I don't like the word goal in terms of
Yeah.
science and religion because it doesn't seem.
I mean, as a follower in religion, you have a goal, right?
It would depend on the religion, yeah, I suppose. But let's say for Christianity, it would be to try to convert as many people as you can to Christianity.
Oh, I thought it was like to first you want to save yourself, right?
Yes,
And then you want to convert everyone.
yes, you want to save everyone else.
Yeah. And I guess in like Buddhism it'd be finding nirvana or,
Yep. So again, there's a goal in mind in that, but even then, that's not about achieving truth. It could be seen as achieving truth.
yeah,
But that's sort of a hairy sort of definition of truth.
true.
I don't know. Maybe
Um,
we should hear him out a little more. But the story is the fall and restoration of paradise. What do you think he means by
yeah,
that?
that's what kind of what's giving me a little
Huh.
culty vibes here.
Fine. I
The
mean,
fall and restoration of paradise. I mean,
well, isn't that what
I'm not
religion
sure
is?
what he's. Uh, it-
Think about this: Garden of Eden is paradise, right? There was a fall.
yeah.
Mankind lives in a state of, toil and sin and turmoil and all that stuff, and we're trying to achieve heaven, back to paradise.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
how I could see it. I don't know how science necessarily is the story of the fall and restoration of paradise, but
yeah, that's where I'm trying to make the connection.
right. Oh,
Well, I guess we'll have to hear him out.
yeah. All right. You want to do the honors?
Yeah, let's go.
By the way, our
achieve
stream.
paradise. For science, this may look like a cure for a disease, clean energy, or a utopian society. For religion, it might take the form of heaven, peace on earth, or a universal Garden of Eden. But the point is that both ideologies share a presupposition that we're moving onward and upward to better things.
I don't know if that's science's
I don't think that's.
supposition.
I don't think that's religion supposition either. I think religion basically, at least I don't know about all religion, but I think actually I do think all religions basically say that heaven is not on this earth.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, like the central premise to almost all religions is life is suffering.
And that seems to be what science always adds up to, too.
Sure. And I'm just going to give the heads up that our stream is about to cut out any minute now. At that point, we're going to probably take a 10-minute break and then we'll have to start her back up, sadly.
Yeah, so if it sounds like we cut off abruptly and the editing isn't quite there, then
We're still like playing around with which teleconferencing app to use for these podcasts. Zoom, and I looked up a few other ones. Um, Zoom is the one I'm most familiar with, but there's other ones that are recommended as better. So we
we're
should.
sure that everything else that other people are using is better than what we're doing right now.
By the way, are owls birds?
Yeah.
Are they?
They have feathers, they fly, I guess what makes a bird? I guess.
Okay, just
I
just
said
checking.
they are non-avian dinosaurs.
Just checking. Okay.
Or they are avian dinosaurs, yeah.
All right. So, do you know why I asked
Why?
that? Someone told me it's a good test of intelligence. Because if you answer right away, you're low intelligence because you didn't think about the question. And if you take too long to answer the question, you're stupid because it's an obvious question. So there needs to be a pause and hesitation, but there's a timed hesitation.
Well, first I have to answer my internal question of why is Karen asking me if owls are birds?
That's the question,
Yeah.
yes. It's a trick question, yes. All right,
Okay.
okay. So owls are birds, though, so we agree on that.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a double meaning there.
See, we agree on more than we disagree.
While the end goal
Just, all right.
varies in form, the path they take to get there remains the same: addition by subtraction. That's because it's universally understood that simplicity is divinity. Truth can be hidden or muddied. And while America's founding fathers said that truth is self evident, we all know humans are easily swayed by superficial or superstitious distractions. That's the point of Plato's cave. Anyone who says trust the experts is gaslighting you. This includes education.
What do you think about that?
A lot to unpack there. Lots of wordplay.
Okay.
Simplicity is divinity. Is that what he was saying?
Yeah, I'm not so focused on that, but we could dissect that too. But more the fact that what do you think about those that would just blanketly say trust? Okay, we're back.
Hey,
Hey,
hey. How was your 10-minute break?
oh great, I made some more tea.
Oh, yeah? What kind of tea are you drinking?
Chamomile nights.
Uh, you find that helps with your sleep?
I don't normally drink it. It just I'm doing my month of sobriety.
Dry January.
I always do January. From my anniversary to the Super Bowl.
Ah, okay.
So
It makes sense. Who wouldn't want to drink in the Super Bowl?
yeah. I'm hoping I don't have to work the Super Bowl though. I have a side job that makes me work on Sundays, which I hate.
Yeah. Hopefully you won't have to do that job much longer.
Well, we'll see. Uh, anyways, probably another year.
I gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So we were talking about briefly before. I think the last thing I was talking about is what do you think of the people who say trust the experts? How do you think of those people?
It's a bit naive. I mean, I
Uh,
guess the point in education really is that to teach you how to educate yourself in some ways. I mean,
Well, I mean, there's pros and cons to trusting experts, right? Because you don't want to be duped into basically thinking because someone with a degree or credentials says something, therefore it's true.
mhm.
But you also don't want to basically be so arrogant to think that like you who has very little experience in the fields that you're talking about knows more than people who do have experience in those fields. So you should trust yourself, but you should probably educate your logic and critical thinking skills so that you can sort of see behind the bullshit of methodology sometimes. Because there's a
Yeah,
lot of way to jigger stuff.
there's a lot of money that
Right.
moves the methodology.
Oh yeah. The funding of a study also does help. But
Mhm.
they talked briefly, or he talked briefly about Plato's cave. Do you know much about
Yeah,
that?
I know we learned it in ninth grade English. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. The person blind and coming out of the cave, but they can't quite recognize
Yeah.
what everything, right?
So it comes from Plato's Republic, and eventually it's a metaphor for reality by which he says that basically all of human beings start off and are until they basically, in a funny way, gain free will. We all are basically prisoners trapped in a cave looking at shadow puppets on a wall. And to us, since we've never been outside the cave, the shadow puppets are reality. But really, they're just like our sensory observation of light refraction or something, whatever. So it's not
Mhm.
really. Like if you see the shadow of a bird, that's the bird, not the actual bird.
Yeah, I mean, I think about that when you say that. I think about that quote where, to go back to science, like if something is so scientifically advanced beyond to a certain degree, it may look just like magic to any ordinary person, right?
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
sure if we showed people our flamethrowers and flying vehicles and everything to people 1,000 years ago, they'd say like witchcraft
Well, they call it alchemy.
or alchemy. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't think that they were people in medieval times were as barbaric as we think they are, but they definitely were ignorant.
Yeah,
In
they had
comparisons.
simpler explanations.
Although, like usually usually the funny thing about witchcraft accusations were usually people high on mushrooms.
It's very true. Like certain grains getting a little fungal rot.
Exactly. And like if someone's gonna act crazy, I mean, like what else were you gonna think? It's fucking like demonic possession or something. Yeah. Uh, so like me and Nate looked this up one time. Is like so you know about the Salem witch trials, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out there was a way worse witch trial pandemic in Norway, or was it Norway or Finland? But they burned
Not Finland.
it was Finland or Norway. It was one of those Nordic countries. You know, all those like so dark and so cold that they need something to do for
Well,
entertainment.
more Protestant too up there.
Let's burn some witches.
Yeah.
No,
Stay
no.
warm.
Stay warm. Exactly. That's the right thing to do. So we're running low on wood. The woods are right over there, but there's witches right here.
Tossing the crazy people.
The witches are right here. I don't want to chop down a tree.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. There was a lot worser one though.
Yeah, it was
Back in
in
the day.
it was in Norway or Finland. It was in the 1500s, around the same time. But I think something like it was 70 or 700 women or witches were put to the stakes. Probably 70. 700 would be fucking crazy.
Yeah, you never know back then, right?
Yeah. All right.
Is it always?
What?
I mean, witches are normally women, right? And then it's
No, men can be witches.
okay.
They can
I
practice.
never hear about men burning at the stake though
Men don't typically
in
dance
history,
naked in the woods.
unless they're high on mushrooms.
Exactly.
Typically.
All right. Let's continue, shall we? All right. I'll do the honors. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
For science, the path to paradise can be as simple as maintaining a clean lab and making sure an experiment is free of any outside imperfections that can sully the outcome. Religion does the same thing. They just call it dying to self, forgiveness of sin, or even the lake of fire. But both are based on the idea that the only way to get gold is to remove the dross. Paradise can't be passed on. It must be restored. This is why every nation is only one generation.
A republic, if you can keep it, where freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction, and God forbid we should ever be 20 years without such a rebellion. That's the cool thing about Jefferson. He really did think that like every generation needed a revolution.
Well, every generation has a little angst to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, Jefferson was really radical. The more I read about him, the more yeah, he's pretty radical for his time or even today's time, because yeah, he really did believe that.
Yeah. Did he practice what he preached though?
Did he practice what he's preached? I mean, by the time he left off, he did do a lot of changes that, like, the crazy thing, when he was actually president, he basically called it a revolution in and of itself, the Revolution of 1800. It's like its own separate thing. His agrarian Jeffersonian society was very different from the Federalist society that he inherited. But then, like, he would like scoff at the things that happened after him in a lot of ways. So no, he didn't practice what he preached in that regard. But he thought that the okay. Here's one way where he's very hypocritical and didn't practice what he preached. Jefferson believed that the path towards virtue was through labor, like tilling a field, working with your hands.
Yeah.
Ironically, he owned slaves and didn't pick up a hoe in his fucking life. So, was he not a virtue? Was he not a virtuous man? I don't know. By his own definition, he wasn't.
I know it's always something to actually see how people like if they actually follow the words that they're prescribing. I guess that's one way to really see if
Well,
call out the experts.
Well, the thing about the Jefferson thing, though, is I don't want to conflate like he was a hypocrite because he owned slaves. Because one, pretty much everyone back then owned slaves if you're rich, and two,
Yeah.
he dedicated more time in the Declaration of Independence towards the abolition of slavery than he did anything else. And then, like, in order to get the southern states on board with the revolution, they had to edit that all out. So I'm
Yeah.
serious. Like he was,
I know.
yeah, and he was also the first governor in the British Empire to abolish the slave trade in his colony. So,
Is that Virginia?
yep,
No,
he
was
was
he
one.
Virginia?
Well, he was the governor of Virginia, and he was the
Okay.
first in the entire British Empire to outlaw the slave trade. So he did do a lot of things for abolition. So I don't think he's a total hypocrite.
Yeah.
But so it's not the fact that he owned slaves. It's more the fact that he thought that the path, to me at least, the path to virtue was through hard labor, and he didn't fucking do any hard labor. Anyways,
Yeah, he was kind of known as like a book nerd, wasn't he?
oh yeah, he was a huge intellectual.
Whereas Washington and most of the other founding fathers were quite the opposite, right? Besides maybe Madison.
Madison, no, I would say John Adams, Madison, George Washington wasn't.
Yeah.
Hamilton was another intellectual. A lot of them were very intelligent people.
Well, wasn't Hamilton? He was born in like the Caribbean, wasn't he?
Was he?
I don't even think he was a natural. Oh, technically, they weren't. None of them
None of them were born in the United States. Here's a fun question. Who's the first president to be born in the United States?
Martin Van Buren.
Damn, how'd you know that? That was fucking fast.
Martin? Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, Tina.
Yeah, it's Tina. Yeah.
All right.
Also, I think the only president that spoke 2 languages fluently. He spoke Dutch fluently.
There's a lot of presidents who spoke many languages, but he could be the one who spoke it fluently. I don't know.
Yeah, he's an interesting fellow.
Yeah, George W. Bush apparently knows Spanish. Well, he says he does. I don't know if that's true.
So he knows Texas Spanish.
Texas Spanish. Yeah, una cerveza, por favor.
Por favor.
Actually, he was sober. That's a bad quote for him. All right. I don't know, what would he say? Pass the coke. Cocaine.
Oh God.
Cocaine. All right. Okay, but anyways, I honestly, I mean, maybe we're making a lot of jokes. I'm not really getting the message to this video, but he's making a lot of comparisons I don't think are very apt.
Well, he's saying I think if we don't think for ourselves, we'll be enslaved or something like that, or we're slaves to whatever, I don't know, is holding truths over us.
Yeah. Well, let's continue.
Yeah, okay.
It's only a 9-minute video, and I'm trying to finish this before our next deadline. I don't want it to make another pause, so anyways. Bear with us, people. I think this might be our last time doing this stupid pass it on thing. We might actually just bear down and buy it. I researched some other like teleconferencing apps. Couldn't find a single one that was free.
We tried.
Yeah, they all seem to pay for. You have to pay for them. There seems to be a lot better ones than Zoom. But I'm just familiar with Zoom at the same time. But I could probably learn another one.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll give it our best shot to stick to our guns here.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Away from enslavement. But as the saying goes, everyone has a plan till they're punched in the mouth. The problem is that it doesn't matter how carefully you conduct your experiment or how dutifully you memorize your holy book. The data has to be interpreted, and that's the inescapable flaw of the scientific method. It requires detached observers, but it's impossible to remove human bias. And if that isn't bad enough, we're now learning that reality itself is fundamentally unobservable. We've all seen the studies showing most labs can't replicate or reproduce the outcomes of their experiments.
Yeah.
But did you know that half of all scientific papers are flat out wrong? At first glance, we write this off as accidental p-value manipulation or poor statistical practice. But unfortunately, that isn't the case. An example of this is a 2014 study on racism and red cards. Researchers did all the grunt work, collecting data, and asked 29 teams to give their analysis. And you guessed it, Every team gave a different result. All of us are programmed. Every field of
Did you get that metaphor? What was that study? I was blanking. What
I,
was?
something about red cards and racism
Yeah, that
in
I
every
thought.
team.
I was thinking that like they were going to show some sort of correlation between the I don't know, racial diversity of a team and the amount of red cards they would receive. But that's not what he said. Can we go back just a minute? I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
I want to see what the study showed.
I was trying to understand it.
I didn't get it yet, so let's go back real quick. Sorry.
An example of this is a 2014 study on racism and red cards. Researchers did all the grunt work, collecting data, and asked 29 teams to give their analysis. And you guessed it, every team gave a different result. All of us are programmed. Every field of study.
That's really not giving us much information about that study.
I kind of like, yeah, how he's saying that we shouldn't trust people that are telling you how it is, and then he doesn't cite his sources.
Maybe he does in the description of the video.
Maybe he does, yeah, but I thought it was kind of funny.
Sorry.
Oh, you got to check.
There's a transcript.
Oh, okay.
I don't see any sources. No, sorry. Let's go back. No, yeah, but I think the message he's trying to get is not that you should trust him, but you shouldn't trust your eyes or anyone.
Don't trust anyone,
Don't trust
even yourself.
Don't trust anyone or anything.
I gotcha.
It's the Jews.
Oh God. Why does it always default back to them?
It always works out that way. It just seems to be the one correlative factor all the time.
What was that?
No, that was a bad joke.
I'm still getting culty vibes from this guy.
Are you
like he's gonna tell you how to remove your biases, and you have to like suppress your like sensory nerve or your nerve. I don't know. That's how it always works.
Okay, but I feel this overwhelming urge to pay him for it. Like I think no, it's working in the sense that like I think he's right. I think we need to basically devote our lives to Shamu.
Monostory Academy.
Monostory Academy, yeah, Shamu. I'm calling him Shamu.
Shamu.
I don't know why. That was a funny name. Culty vibes. This guy's got 300 followers. We should be so lucky. Let's start a cult.
This must be a great cult if he's got 300 followers.
Well, I mean, like, if the key to being successful on YouTube is starting a cult, why haven't we done it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. What should our cult be about?
Good vibes only.
I don't like it. That could be the cult of Tina. But
okay.
The cult. No, the cult of Karen is stress always.
Don't trust anyone.
No, we're the yin yang. It's perfect. Actually, it's Taoist fucking philosophy. It's perfect.
There we go.
Tina and Karen is yin yang.
They had it wrong.
Yes. Actually, we are the prophecy. We're prophetic. We were always going to come to this world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good vibes only.
And the stress.
Yeah, we're not from this world. Is that what we're telling him?
Oh, this is getting one of those kind of alien cults now, huh?
They all turn out to be that way in some form.
No, Scientology's all about... Oh, wait, shit, bad example. Scientology's about measuring your thetans and making you happy.
Yeah.
And thetans are what?
They're your previous experiences from your past life as an alien, pure alien being.
They're alien souls attached to your body, your soul.
See, you know,
I don't mean
to get rid of them.
I don't mean to mock Scientology. It just comes out that way. I'm just describing the religion as far as I know it.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds like
you're not trying to make fun of Tom Cruise, but you know.
No shit. Like if Scientology made Tom Cruise who he is, then I think Scientology's for everyone. That guy like has so many hits. It's like seriously, in this like age and time where like movies are dying, Hollywood is dying. Tom Cruise can still put out a hit movie.
He knows how to put out a hit action movie. That's for sure.
It's amazing.
I don't think he's done any original acting in a while. He used to.
What about Edge of Tomorrow? Oh, but that's an action movie, but I mean, that's a good movie.
Is that the one where he's like the Nazi guy? Or the guy
No,
trying to kill Hitler?
no,
No, that's Valkyrie, I think.
yeah, yeah.
I never saw that one.
Edge of Tomorrow is the one where he can actually rewind time and relive the same moments.
Oh, I was thinking Minority Report for some reason for a second.
Is he in Minority Report?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too.
that's a good one, yeah.
Shit, the guy does nothing but good movies.
Name your least favorite Tom Cruise movie.
Tropic Thunder.
No.
I
Could that
found
be
it.
considered
I found it horribly anti-Semitic, and considering my joke I just made 5 minutes ago, I need to kiss ass.
Oh, okay. You're saving face.
Exactly.
Worst Tom Cruise movie.
Ugh.
What's that one? Vanilla Sky or something? Vanilla something
Ooh,
with Penelope Cruz.
I haven't seen that one.
I heard it was a little bit too confusing and too open-ended.
To be honest, I'm not a big fan of the earlier Mission Impossible movies. They're sort of generic to me. I
Hot
don't like.
take.
Yeah, no, I like Ghost Protocol, but for the most part, the earlier ones, Mission 1 and 2, are pretty generic to me.
So they've gotten better with age then.
No, some movies have
Oh.
though. Some movies have.
Oh, I'm saying the series itself, the movies later on have gotten better than the
Oh
original.
yeah, exactly. I think that they got better as time went on for the most part.
Well, because he's doing crazier and crazier stunts, right?
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, like he's the Jackie Chan of America.
He's
Yes.
what's that movie he was
Uh,
in? The Last Samurai.
oh, that's a good one actually.
It's very historically inaccurate, but
In a lot of ways. In fact, like one of the biggest ways I think is like I can't remember the samurai's name. Uh, whatever. You know their big issue in the movie? It's presented that it was presented as that they didn't want to be fighting with guns. They found it dishonorable.
yeah.
That
Didn't they
had
use
nothing.
guns?
Well, yeah, the samurai was like,
Yeah.
"This is a fucking great weapon. Why aren't we using it?" It had nothing to do with that. It's just that they didn't want to be colonized by Western powers. They felt that the emperor was giving up like too much of authority to Western powers. It had nothing to do with guns.
Honor and using a sword. No.
Yeah, no. Although it would be cool if that happened. Just march into a battle with a machine gun, firing right at you, and you're waving swords like that's.
That sounds like the basis to an anime right there.
And it works in anime because you can deflect bullets, don't you know? I've seen him slice them in half.
Once you get rid of all your thetans, though.
Right, let's go. Let's move on.
Suffers from professional bias, even something as seemingly incorruptible as physics. And if you get a physicist to let down their guard, they'll admit that most of modern physics is conjecture. And we won't even get into how Robert Maxwell sullied scientific publishing by turning it into a business, an extremely profitable one.
That's getting
Thomas Kuhn reminded us in
You can pause it if you got something to say. Remember?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do you got?
Just saying, yeah, they're bringing in the Maxwells here.
Mm. Oh shit! Was that who that was?
Yeah, that was the Ghislaine Maxwell's dad.
It looked like her, but I didn't. I didn't put two and two together. All right. The
Yeah.
Structure of Scientific Revolutions. Thomas
Okay.
Kuhn.
Haven't heard of this guy.
1961 that scientific data isn't absolute truth, and that our current system is based on a flawed and broken peer-reviewed derivative thinking paradigm that limits discovery. Phrases like trust the science are laughably unscientific, and it's worse in medicine. Pharma dictates medical protocol. If you go against it, you're not getting published.
That is true. It's ironic that that's like a very religious, dogmatic thing to say. Trust the science. You might as well be saying trust the priests or trust the clerics.
Yeah, just have faith, right?
Exactly, have faith, which is the most unscientific thing you can do. It's basically question everything is what they want you to do.
That's when your science becomes your religion, I guess.
Yeah, it can be. I think there's a term, scientism has become a thing.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it's people who basically treat science like a religion.
I can see that.
They don't actually use their own critical thinking skills and logic to question science and to question narratives. They just simply say if the scientists say it, that's like basically saying my priest said it or the Bible says it.
Yeah. And their word is law.
Mm-hmm. Trust the experts. Okay. So I think this all comes down to that the problem with science and religion is that you have to trust your own senses, and that's stupid.
Mm-hmm. And you're fundamentally flawed.
Yeah.
So
I'm really curious how he's gonna fix it though. That's the fun.
yeah, who do we trust now?
Him.
They can.
Give him your money and move into his farm.
You think this is how it's gonna end?
I think I better. If I don't get like an invitation to come to his like pick like cotton or honey or like honey from bees or whatever, I'm gonna be pissed off. Yeah.
I gotta get something out of this video.
Damn right. Yeah. All right.
Science always leads to scientism. Why? Because everything in the universe follows the same cycle. This fall occurs anytime it's politicized. An example of this is when Francis Bacon told King James that the best way to trick his subjects into doing something they didn't agree with was to use the word science.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
Did you know that Hal in 2001 Space Odyssey represents how dangerously close-minded scientists are? Academia is always the last.
I really need to watch that movie.
Yeah, is that what Hal represents? I've never seen it.
No, he's just supposed to be an evil robot. You already knew that.
Well, you really think that's all it is?
I think that's all that's
You
supposed to
think
be, right?
Stanley Kubrick basically just wanted to make a movie about an evil robot?
Remember what he said? Like, you don't want to dive too deep into it.
Oh, our last video about overanalyzing. Jesus Christ, yeah. Mm-hmm. By the way, can you hear this?
Yeah, I can hear this.
Okay, good. Because there was a slight confession on Tina's part saying that the last two videos that we did together, he couldn't hear. He just faked it.
Oh, yes. I can hear this video, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we watch together is working.
Yes, watch together is working pretty good. We'll trust this going forward.
I think this guy makes a lot of leaps. I wish he leaps from one thing to another.
Oh, leaps, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think that he's drawing false parallels that I don't see are there. But hey, you know what? Monostory Academy, if you disagree with our analysis, you're more than welcome to come on our podcast and defend your position, and we'll debate you and eventually join you.
Yeah, if we lose, we'll join your academy.
We'll join your academy and we'll pay you. That's non-binding. I don't have to do that.
Okay.
I will join you. I'll work on your farm. All right. Cole thinks so mean.
Task group to accept change. Science isn't a thing, it's what a thing does. And science doesn't say anything. People do. And all of those people are brainwashed.
Our eyes and ears take in electrical signals which our brains interpret based on our expectations. We don't see reality. We see our reality.
The reason we seek a grand unified theory is that our understanding of space and time is incompatible. It doesn't take a genius to know there already is a grand unified theory. As Planck said, science advances one funeral at a time.
Oh, I really thought he was going to give the grand unified theory.
Yeah, I was waiting for his final explanation.
Yeah, well, we're going to hear it soon. I swear to God, this is how it's going. Okay, we'll code.
All right, to recap what he just said, there's one grand unified theory, and to not know that there is, means you're an idiot.
Right. Science and religion both propose a grand unified theory of everything, and
currently science does not.
No.
It's very conflicted.
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's listen to that one more time. I'm gonna rewind it back. There we go.
We don't see reality. We see our reality.
The reason we seek a grand unified theory is that our understanding of space and time is incompatible. It doesn't take a genius to know there already is a grand unified theory. As Planck said, science advances one funeral at a time. Never forget that every statistic can be negated by another statistic. There isn't a single fact on Earth that isn't contested by equally compelling evidence. No one goes into a study neutral. All experts are gaslighting you. No exceptions.
What was Albert Einstein trying to get you to think?
You need, just that light equals matter to a degree, relatively.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
If only it was that simple. If I could just turn light into matter.
Well, one day you might be able to.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't think that's what he was trying to convince me, though.
No. Yeah. But essentially, I could boil this whole video down to the central argument is everyone has an agenda. Don't trust anyone. Trust me.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. They're all gaslighting you.
Well, that part I agree with, but the part where it's like he has a solution. Okay, well, we have 10 minutes left. If we can finish this video, I'd be willing to come back. It's getting a little late though. Let's power through. But the fundamental flaw of science and religion and how to fix it. That's the part that messes with me. How to fix it.
Yeah, beware of anyone who's offering solutions, I guess,
Right,
is what
exactly.
I'm getting.
Yeah, that's a snake oil salesman. Okay, starting it back up.
I've already pointed out how our holy books can't be about the end of the world, especially if they're written before the Age of Enlightenment. And the archaic ideas of eternal torment and substitutional atonement are going the way of the dodo because they aren't only immoral, but illegal. We may have been told that God was racist and had favorite locations or dates, but none of it was true. Now, this doesn't mean our religions are wrong, but it might mean we're evolving in our understanding of the divine, especially since those views don't come from God's word. But
that's a pelvis.
It's a Rorschach test.
Well, what did you see?
Chandelier?
You don't see a womb?
I could see that. I see the ovaries and the hips, bones.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just curious what you saw. You saw a chandelier.
Yeah.
I wonder what that says about you.
I like lighted rooms.
I just saw a woman's privates. What?
Actually, I think I saw a crown first.
It could be a crown too, yeah.
Yeah. A kind of little cross at the top.
Still
Kind of
speaks
makes it look holy.
Still speaks volumes.
I think this guy's really getting into it now.
Okay, let's them talk.
from how
Unless you find something you really want to challenge or talk about, I'll let them just talk for a while.
humans read it.
Okay.
And the idea that God's word is a book is a perfect example of this. The logos is everywhere. The reason we forget is because of this guy. Matter is just an emanating expression of God. There is no separation. God is the goal of all things. All progress is returning home. There's only one story because there's only one cycle. Our theological differences depend on what part of the cycle we favor. The cataphatic legalism of Augustine focuses on the fall, while the apophatic philosophy of Aquinas
Are you just
Hold on.
Are you distracted by?
Cataphatic?
It's a lot of bullshit terms, but basically it's just the hero's journey is what it is.
Okay, he really jumped into that.
I know. So anyone who's familiar with Dan Campbell's hero's journey, it's basically a summary of basically every society's adventure quest that they've ever been. It's young man lives in a state of peace. There's some conflict, and he has to venture out into the unknown, meets a mentor, and basically saves the day. And he comes back a better person.
Yeah, one of the most enduring stories of all time.
Sure, but he even throws all these fucking Greek words in there for no fucking reason.
To make him sound smart.
Well, he does sound smart. I'll give him that.
Has he said the fundamental flaw of religion though yet?
Yes, you're not getting it. It's that all of our reality is subjective.
Ah.
That's the problem with religion and science. Is like your interpretation of religion is correct to you and no one else. Your interpretation of science is correct to you and no one else. My interpretation of religion is correct. And science is correct. No, I didn't say
that. And my own science.
You added that part on. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I just said that. My thoughts on science and religion are both true.
Mm-hmm. And so is his. To everyone else.
His is true to him.
Okay. So he's preaching his own beliefs.
Yes. Just like you would, and I preach the truth.
Uh,
Okay, now you're catching on with him.
yeah.
All right, yeah. But I thought you were just going to talk about this thing in the top right corner here.
I know I'm seeing a lot of symbols and stuff now.
Oh, it's mesmerizing, is what it was. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Focuses on the return. But never forget that literalism was invented. All cataphatic sayings in the Bible are metaphoric. Why? Because to label something is to limit it. This is why the first Christian school in Alexandria taught a completely allegorical interpretation of the scriptures. All perception is projection. None of us see the world as it is, we see it as we are. And history shows what this looks like. Every part of culture changes when the sun moves from one astrological sign to the next, and religion is no exception. The shift from Taurus to Aries occurred around the time we're told the Israelites came out of Egypt and sacrificed.
What?
I wasn't expecting it to get all astrological.
Not only that, he was actually equating like the astrological signs to Israel, the Israelites leaving. Would they be Israelites at that point? Hebrews leaving Egypt.
Yeah, they I don't think they'd founded Israel yet.
No. So,
Yeah, the people of Moses.
yeah.
Yeah, this is going off the rails now.
Oh yeah. Well, let's. The astrological signs threw me a bit. So.
Change from bulls to sheep. Those who didn't like the change tried to hold on to the old ways and built a golden calf, which Moses wasn't too thrilled about. The following centuries were filtered through the lens and language of shepherds, and this understanding of God continued until the ages changed again from Aries to Pisces.
No! Did you know about these like ages of these astrological ages?
No, I just know we're in the age of Aquarius, right?
How? Okay, the song.
The song.
But I didn't know that they. Okay, well, we need to do a video on astrology because I didn't know there were
Oh,
ages
no.
of the signs. No, we do.
Okay.
I just knew that there were months associated with the signs.
Yeah, it goes deeper than that.
So the age of Aries was the Moses and the Hebrews entering Israel, and the age of
Pisces?
Pisces was, what did he say? Like Jesus?
And I don't know.
I
I don't
maybe
know how
missed that
long an
part.
age is.
I don't know. That's a good question too.
And language of shepherds. And this understanding of God continued until the ages changed again from Aries to Pisces. Sheep were replaced with fish, and shepherds with fishermen.
Damn it!
Salvation suddenly required immersion in water, and boats brought the gospel to every corner of the earth.
Okay, that's actually interesting.
Okay, being very new agey now.
Well, no, the metaphor of the prophets as shepherds turned to fish. Well, no, because like yeah, you would have like it would have been like if you were confined to the land of Canaan, the land of Israel, you would just be shepherds. But if you're going to export it out to the entire Mediterranean, which is essentially the whole world, you need fishermen.
And Pisces is the fish.
Ah, yeah, that's fucking crazy. Well, I don't know if any of this is true. He's just making this all up because I got to look up the astrological ages now. What the fuck?
We might have to look into astrology.
Next video, astrology.
We'll learn Karen's sun, moon, rising.
Yes, bad moon rising.
What changes will the shift to Aquarius bring?
No!
We're about to find out. Whether it's an age of freedom or return to slavery remains to be seen. Be warned that those who understand the cycle.
Those two options?
This took a
It's either slavery or freedom.
This took a very dark turn.
I mean, he has to scare you at some point if you want to join the cult.
That's right. He's got to be able to save us from something.
Always use it to manipulate those that don't. An example of this from the last age is when followers of the way were told not to call anyone teacher or father, and that they didn't need anyone to teach them because they already knew all things. And then we're supposed to believe that they went out and invented a religion to teach them and called those teachers fathers. Nope, I'm not buying it. And neither should you. So, how do we fix it? The answer has been in front of you all your life. We call it story. The hero must lose himself to find himself. And so must you.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
The way to truth is the retroductive removal program. We must unlearn all we have learned. Why? Because you can't solve a problem with the same thinking that created it. Doesn't matter if we're talking about science or theology. everything we know is wrong. And it's only after discovering this do we find that everything we know is right. There's only one story. There's only one person in that story. And that person is you.
All right, I'm getting it now.
Hey, we made it to the end.
Yes.
I feel like this stream is going to cut out in any second. So do you want to give your quick closing thoughts before we conclude? We can still chat after.
If you really want to unlearn anything, just keep watching Tina and Karen do the tube. You'll unlearn a lot of things. And you won't have to pay for it.
I drink.
Even better.
That's the fastest way to unlearn what you've learned. The only true wisdom comes at the bottle of a wine bottle. All right. Okay. I'm going to quickly wrap this up before we...
Are we wrapping?
Yeah, we got to wrap. We were so damn close. I mean, like 10 extra seconds we would have had it.
We're so close.
I know. Well, my next podcast will either have the pro version of Zoom or we'll find a different teleconferencing site.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned any of the other ones, but besides that one that said not to try, besides, I think you said Google Meets was an option.
The Google Hangouts is now Google Meet. Yeah. I could look into that one. There was also StreamYards, Streamlabs. There's Riverside FM.
But that one's paid, right?
That one's paid. But it does seem like there's a lot of AI benefits to it. Like it can cut out clips for you. Like it actually will go through your whole video, find the most interesting things, and clip them out for you. So that's kind of cool.
It'd be fun to see just what it would clip out.
Yeah, wouldn't it? But anyways, that one's basically $10 more a year than Zoom. So it's a question whether we would do one of these paid ones or if we can find a really good free one. If you're available anytime to test them out, let me know. Are you free Monday?
Monday is usually our busiest day, so not Monday.
Okay. Well, I'll find another day. Anyways, you gave your final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm good with my final thoughts.
All right. My final thoughts were I'm disappointed that he didn't tell me where I need to meet him for the greater good.
For the great unlearning.
The great unlearning. Yes, the great unlearning. I needed to know where I needed to meet my new master. This is so mean.
How can I ascend if I don't,
I find this video particularly mean because for the first time, we're still punching up, but for the first time ever, we're talking about someone